You know, for the longest time, $1 million home was it. It was the ultimate symbol of success in America, right? An untouchable trophy. Well, guess what? That dream is absolutely collapsing. We're gonna break down exactly how and why this is happening.
I mean, listen to this direct quote. It just perfectly captures the brutal reality we're seeing. These incredible mansions, these symbols of wealth, are now becoming, get this, financial tombstones. That's what our source calls them. And it makes sense. They're these huge assets that are just bleeding value, and you can't sell them without taking a massive, massive loss. So they just sit there, rotting on the market while sellers watch their fortunes just evaporate.
And this number right here, yeah, that's not a typo. That is an $800,000 price cut on a single luxury penthouse in Boston. They had to slash the price by that much just to find a buyer. I mean, that's the scale of wealth destruction we're talking about. It's insane. All right, so let's really dive into this, because what we're looking at here, it isn't just a minor slowdown. This isn't your typical market correction. The data is pretty clear. This is a nationwide implosion, a rapid collapse that's hitting even the wealthiest homeowners, and it's happening in cities you would never expect.
I mean, just think back to 2021. It feels like a lifetime ago, right? $1 million homes were just flying off the market. You'd have bidding wars, places sold in days, and now? Whew, those exact same properties are just sitting there for months, sometimes for over a year. Sellers are just desperate for any offer. The party is over. The music has definitely stopped. So, the big question is, how on earth did we get here? What caused such a massive, sudden reversal? Well, it turns out it's not just one thing. It's like a perfect storm, really, a combination of three key ingredients that came together to create this brutal reality for sellers. So let's break them down one by one. Okay, ingredient number one. The high-end buyer has basically vanished. Poof, gone. During the pandemic, you had this flood of wealthy buyers from out of state, right? A lot of them from the tech world, just snapping up luxury homes left and right. But now, with interest rates soaring past 7% and a big slowdown in tech, that river of cash has just completely dried up.
And this right here, this shows the problem perfectly. Take a city like San Antonio. The average household income there, it's about $65,000. The local population can't even dream of affording these million-dollar price tags. So the entire luxury market was basically propped up by outside money. And now that those outsiders are gone, the whole thing just has no foundation left to stand on.
All right, on to ingredient number two, the absolutely crushing cost of just owning one of these places. And listen, the mortgage payment, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Even wealthy people are starting to look at the numbers and realize these properties can be a financial death sentence.
Let's do the new math, okay? Check this out. If you're in a city like Austin, the property taxes alone on a $1.5 million home can be over $30,000 a year. A year! Or look at New Orleans, where homeowners are getting hit with insurance bills for $25,000, even $30,000 annually. When you add it all up, the costs to just keep the lights on become totally unsustainable, even for people making really good money.
And the final ingredient in this perfect storm? A glut, a massive oversupply of homes. You see, developers saw that pandemic boom, and they thought the party would never end. They just assumed the demand was infinite, so they went wild, flooding cities with luxury condos and giant McMansions. And now, those properties are just sitting empty, literally choking the market.
This chart really tells the story. Just look at Atlanta. Back in 2020, you had fewer than 1,000 homes on the market for over $1 million. Fast forward to mid-2024, and that number has exploded to over 3,500. The supply has just completely swamped the demand. And what does that do? It gives all the power to the buyers and forces sellers into this desperate race to the bottom, just slashing prices to get out.
Okay, so we've got the three ingredients for the storm: vanishing buyers, crushing costs, and a flood of supply. Now let's see what that storm actually looks like when it makes landfall. We're going to zoom in on three cities that have become ground zero for this luxury collapse, and each one has its own crazy story of decline.
First up, Miami. For a while there, it was the absolute crown jewel of American luxury real estate. Back in 2021, $1 million condo would be gone in 48 hours. Today, it's sitting on the market for over 120 days. You had developers throwing up these glassy towers, thinking the foreign buyers would just keep coming forever, but that tide has turned, and now there's just this catastrophic oversupply. And just look at this, nearly 40%, a staggering 38%, of all the $1 million listings in Miami have had their prices slashed. And we're not talking about a little trim here and there. We're talking about cuts of up to $500,000 just to get someone to even look. That's not a correction, folks. That's a full-blown panic.
Okay, next let's head over to San Francisco, which used to be the absolute gold standard. Now its collapse is being fueled by this really toxic cocktail of problems. The tech downturn, people leaving the city in droves, and a reputation that's taken a major hit. The city has really lost its golden appeal, and you can see it in the housing market, which is just hemorrhaging wealth.
And, I mean, a wipeout is the only word for this. This is on a single mansion in San Francisco. This place was listed for $6 million in 2021. Today, they're basically begging for offers at $4.5 million. That's a devastating loss of wealth, and it's a terrifying sign for anyone who bought at the peak of the market. But believe it or not, the sharpest, most brutal collapse of all might be happening down in New Orleans. The luxury market there was always a bit fragile, you know? It was really built on a house of cards, out-of-state speculation, and now it is being completely decimated by a crisis that has no easy fix: the insane cost of insurance.
And when I say dire, I mean it. Listings are sitting there for over 150 days, price cuts are hitting 30%. But the real killer, it's the insurance. Annual premiums are topping $30,000 because of hurricane risk. Owning a luxury home here literally feels like setting a pile of money on fire every year.
So, what's the fallout from all this? Because this isn't just about rich people losing some money on paper. No. This implosion has real, tangible consequences for everyone. Think about it. City budgets that rely on those huge property taxes, they're now facing massive shortfalls. The construction industry that was banking on this boom, projects are stalling, and that hits local jobs. This is a shock to the whole system, and it's starting to change how we even think about what it means to be wealthy in America.
And that brings us right back to that term we started with, the financial tombstone. It's so perfect, isn't it? These homes have literally transformed. They're no longer symbols of achievement. They're traps. They're these high-value assets that are now just impossible to offload without taking a life-altering financial hit.
Yeah, this quote really says it all. For thousands and thousands of homeowners all across the country, what was supposed to be this amazing pandemic-fueled luxury dream has turned into an absolute luxury nightmare. A nightmare of bleeding equity, watching their net worth just drain away, and this mounting feeling of desperation.
And that leaves us with one last, really provocative question to think about. As we watch this whole market just unravel, you have to ask yourself, are million-dollar homes still the ultimate symbol of wealth in America? Or have they become something else entirely? A heavy, unsellable millstone of debt hanging around your neck?